Want to live past 100? These 4 habits make all the difference. Have you ever found yourself wondering why some people just seem to live longer, and not just longer, but better? I'm not talking about simply adding more years to life, but adding more life to those years. You know the kind of people I mean. You'll see them well into their 90s or even 100s, still tending their gardens, walking to the market, laughing with their grandkids. There's a twinkle in their eyes that says they haven't just survived the years, they've truly lived them. Maybe one morning, while sipping your tea, you caught yourself thinking about the future, not just where life is headed, but how well you'll be feeling when you get there. Will your body still let you do the things you love? Will your mind stay sharp enough to enjoy them? And more importantly, is there something you can do today to help shape that future? That's where this video comes in. Because the truth is, there are places in the world, real places, where people live longer than anywhere else on the planet. They're called blue zones. And in these communities, living past 90, even past 100, is so common that it's not even considered extraordinary. It's just part of life. So what's their secret? In this video, we're going to gently unpack 4 key reasons why people in blue zones live longer, and how you can bring those same habits into your own life, starting right where you are. No moving required. Just simple, meaningful changes that can make a world of difference. Let's begin with the first one. It's something we all know we should do, but in blue zones, it's not a chore. It's part of life. I'm talking about daily, natural movement. You won't find people in Okinawa or Sardinia hitting the gym for intense, punishing workouts. What you will find is something much more sustainable, movement that's woven into their everyday routine. They walk to the store, garden in the mornings, sweep their patios, ride bikes to see friends, knead dough by hand, and simply move. Not in a hurry. Not with pressure. Just naturally. And that kind of movement, done consistently, is one of the strongest predictors of a long, vibrant life. It keeps the joints loose, the muscles engaged, the heart strong. It even helps with balance and reduces the risk of falls. But more than anything, it keeps people connected to their surroundings, their tasks, and their community. Think about your own day for a moment. Is there a small shift you could make? Maybe walking to pick up a few groceries instead of driving? Parking a little farther from the entrance? Stretching while the kettle boils? These aren't about burning calories. They're about choosing life in motion. Because that's what adds up, not just to fitness, but to longevity. Now let's talk about another habit that's easy to overlook but quietly powerful, a strong sense of purpose. In the blue zone of Okinawa, there's a beautiful concept called ikigai. Roughly translated, it means a reason to get up in the morning. And for many people in Okinawa, that reason doesn't disappear with retirement. In fact, it often becomes stronger. Your purpose might be tending your garden. It might be volunteering, caring for a grandchild, mentoring someone, learning something new, or simply being the keeper of stories in your family. But having that reason, a reason that lights a small spark in your chest when you wake up, has been shown to reduce the risk of heart disease, dementia, even depression. And here's the beautiful part, purpose isn't something you find once and hold forever. It evolves. It can be simple. It can be quiet. It doesn't need to be earth-shattering. It just needs to matter to you. If you've been feeling a little adrift lately, you are not alone. It's common to hit a point in life where routines are comfortable but maybe a bit too quiet. The days start to blend. But you don't need to wait for something big to come along. Start small. Ask yourself, what brings me even a little joy or meaning today? Follow that thread. In blue zones, purpose is lived, not just pondered. And that makes all the difference. Now, these 2 ingredients, natural movement and a sense of purpose, already create a strong foundation for a long and meaningful life. But as we'll see next, it's what surrounds these people every day that truly lifts their years and their spirits. So, let's keep going. So, we've already seen how natural movement and a strong sense of purpose quietly shape the lives of those in blue zones. But there's something else, something even more fundamental, that supports them day after day. It's not a supplement. It's not a secret ingredient tucked away in a pill bottle. It's the food on their plate. Or more precisely, how they approach eating and what it represents in their lives. In every blue zone, from the hills of Sardinia to the shores of Costa Rica, you'll find a way of eating that is humble, seasonal, and deeply nourishing. Not just to the body, but to the soul. Most meals are plant-based. That doesn't mean they're vegan or vegetarian. It simply means that the foundation of their food is grown, not packaged. Beans, greens, sweet potatoes, whole grains, nuts, and olive oil form the backbone of their diets. Meat is present, but used sparingly, more as a flavor or celebration, not a daily routine. There's no obsession with high-protein trends or low-carb fads. Just simple food, prepared with care, shared with others, and eaten slowly. And perhaps the most beautiful part of all this? People in blue zones stop eating when they're about 80% full. There's even a phrase for this in Okinawa, hara-hachi-bu. It's a gentle reminder to pause, to listen to your body, and to honor the difference between no longer hungry and completely stuffed. Now, that might seem subtle, but over time, it makes a profound difference. It gives your body the space to digest more peacefully. It supports a healthy weight without ever feeling restrictive. And maybe most importantly, it reconnects eating with awareness and gratitude. If you've ever found yourself eating on autopilot or finishing a meal without remembering the first bite, you are not alone. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Even just sitting down, taking a breath before eating, or putting your fork down between bites, these small moments add up. They return you to the rhythm of nourishment. They say, I'm here. I'm taking care of myself. And you don't have to live next to a farm to do this. Even in the middle of a city, you can choose a handful of fresh greens, a pot of beans, a few roasted vegetables with olive oil. You can find joy in simplicity. That's what people in blue zones do. They eat close to the earth, and it brings them life. But even that isn't the full picture. There's another layer, just as essential, maybe even more so in today's world. And it's not about what's on your plate, but who's sitting across from you when you eat it. Because in every single blue zone, you'll find something that's becoming increasingly rare in modern life, deep, lasting social connection. People in blue zones don't just live longer because of what they eat or how much they move. They live longer because they're not alone. They're surrounded by people who care. Who show up. Who listen. In Sardinia, families live close together across generations. In Nicoya, neighbors drop by without an invitation. In Okinawa, elders are part of tight-knit groups called moais, small social circles that support each other for life. They check in on each other, share food, laugh together, and grieve together too. They know they're not carrying life's burdens alone. And this, perhaps more than anything, protects them. Not just emotionally, but physically. Because loneliness, especially in our later years, isn't just sad, it's dangerous. Studies have shown that social isolation can increase your risk of heart disease, dementia, even early death. But connection? Real, consistent, heartwarming connection? That's medicine. And it doesn't need to be complicated. Maybe for you it's a weekly walk with a friend. A morning phone call. A shared meal with a neighbor. Joining a group, even a small one, that meets regularly, whether it's a book club, a Tai Chi class, or a local volunteering group. What matters isn't the size of your circle, but the depth of it. You don't have to have a dozen friends. Just a few people you can laugh with, confide in, and grow older beside. And if right now you're thinking, but I feel a bit disconnected, that's okay too. This can be your gentle invitation to start again. To reach out. To say yes to a small connection that might grow over time. You're never too old to find your people. And you're certainly never too old to be someone else's safe place. When people in blue zones eat, move, and live in connection, it creates a beautiful web of support that holds them up, even in life's hardest moments. And when you combine that with meaning and movement and mindful eating, you've got a recipe not just for a long life, but a rich one. Let's take all of this one step further and look at what truly ties it all together. Because there's one more reason people in blue zones thrive into their 90s and beyond. And it has nothing to do with their habits and everything to do with how they see the world. Let's talk about that next. So far, we've walked through some powerful truths: movement that flows naturally into life, a reason to wake up every morning, food that heals more than just hunger, and the invisible thread of connection that ties hearts together. But there's one more piece. And it's perhaps the most quietly profound of them all. It's their mindset. People in blue zones don't see aging the way we often do in modern culture. They don't treat it like a decline or something to fight off with every fiber of their being. They don't dread birthdays. They don't spend their later years trying to stay young. They lean in. They embrace their age with grace, humor, and, believe it or not, joy. In many of these cultures, older adults aren't sidelined. They're respected. They're the storytellers, the caregivers, the ones people turn to for wisdom. Their wrinkles aren't erased, they're honored. And instead of worrying about how many years they have left, they pour everything they've got into the year they're in. That perspective, it changes everything. Because the moment you stop fearing age and start respecting it, maybe even welcoming it, you shift from living defensively to living fully. From counting down to looking around. And it's in that shift, that subtle but powerful shift, where real longevity begins. It's not just about living past 100 for the sake of hitting a number. It's about waking up at 70 or 80 or 95 and still feeling like your life is your own. Still being curious. Still laughing. Still creating, loving, sharing, exploring. Still saying yes to the sunrise and thank you to the sunset. And maybe you're wondering, can that kind of mindset be cultivated if you didn't grow up with it? If you weren't raised in a place where aging was seen as beautiful? The answer is yes. 1,000 times yes. It begins with something as simple as noticing what's still good. Still working. Still bringing joy. It begins with gratitude, real, grounded gratitude. Not the kind you write on a list to check a box. The kind that sneaks up on you when you're walking outside and the breeze feels just right. Or when your grandchild laughs and sounds just like your daughter did at that age. Or when your hands wrap around a warm mug and you realize, I made it here. I'm still here. And then, from that place of gratitude, you start to make choices that affirm life, not fear its passing. You take care of your body not because you're trying to look younger, but because you want to feel lighter when you dance in the kitchen. You stretch not to become flexible, but because it feels good. You eat a handful of nuts, not because a doctor told you to, but because it's become a quiet act of care. You reach out to a friend, not because you're lonely, but because joy shared is joy doubled. This is what the people in blue zones have figured out, not just how to live long, but how to live well. They don't chase youth. They nourish life. And you can do that too. You don't need a passport. You don't need to uproot your entire life. Everything we've talked about, movement, purpose, nourishment, connection, and mindset, can begin exactly where you are, with what you already have. It starts in the tiniest moments. Walking to the mailbox with intention. Calling someone you love just to say hello. Cooking a simple meal with fresh ingredients and enjoying every bite. Writing down a small joy from your day before you go to bed. And perhaps most of all, forgiving yourself for not starting sooner. Because here's the truth, it's never too late to live better. To feel better. To be the person who makes aging look not just possible, but beautiful. So if today's video sparked something in you, even a small flicker, I invite you to follow that feeling. Try just one thing this week. Just one. Maybe you add 5 minutes of movement to your morning. Maybe you call an old friend. Maybe you put your phone down and eat dinner in silence. Whatever it is, let it be real. Let it be yours. And if you've made it this far into the video, thank you. Truly. It means you're someone who cares about your life, your health, your future. And that's something to be proud of. If you found this helpful, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us, What's one small change you're going to try? Or what habit from the Blue Zones inspired you the most? And if you haven't already, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We've got so many more warm, thoughtful, and practical conversations coming your way, all to help you live well, age beautifully, and feel strong in every chapter of life. Until next time, be kind to yourself. Move gently. Eat slowly. Love deeply. And remember, this isn't about living forever. It's about living fully, today. You've got this.